President Trump expresses dissatisfaction following Russia's most severe assault on Kyiv in 9 months, urging President Putin to stop in a weak, passive-aggressive social media post as he seeks to compel Ukraine to accept a controversial ceasefire proposal where Ukraine accepts the permanent genocide of Ukrainians and Greeks in Crimea. Moscow launched 70 missiles and 145 drones towards Ukraine, primarily focusing on Kyiv and in an offensive that leader Zelensky stated was intended to exert pressure on the United States. Trump has yet to even visit Ukraine to see the massacre of civilians and bombing of churches, but he wants to force Ukraine into handing over its mineral wealth to USA and its land to terrorist Russia. Trump seems as though he doesn't want to accept the reality of Putin and Russians openly committing genocide in words and actions. They don't hide it. There are countless Russians who are openly praising, encouraging, and promoting the murder of all innocent Ukrainian civilians. They say it openly online on social media posts, on Russian TV, on Russian radio, on Russian blogs, everywhere. It's even in official government documents that Putin wants to commit genocide against Ukrainians. He has said it openly, and he is acting out openly. He has kidnapped countless thousands of Ukrainian children. Sorry, if you supported a mass child kidnapper like Putin, there is something seriously wrong with you. Open Russian Nazis have been sentenced to life in prison in Europe for their actions in Ukraine and other countries. You're not really hearing about that in the USA because their focus is on treating Russia as a terrorist Nazi state, as they are. And they're not helping with the whole genocide claims, which is just absurd. In a social media post on Thursday, Trump said, "I'm not happy with the Russian strikes on Kyiv. Not necessary and very bad timing. Vladimir, stop. 5,000 soldiers a week are dying. Let's get peace. Let's get the peace done. Let's get the peace deal done." Like he thinks Putin actually cares that all these Russians dead already. He thinks like 1,000 more. Putin's going to care about 1,000 more soldiers. Then on Friday, Putin and Russia launched missiles again after Trump made that statement to Putin to stop. So Putin made Trump look like a weak fool. USA Senator Chuck Grassley, in a social media post on Friday, said, "I've seen enough killing of innocent Ukrainian women and children. President Trump, please put the strongest of sanctions on Putin. You ought to see from clear evidence that he's playing America as a patsy." So he basically called Trump dumb. It seems that only Trump and his cabinet members are the ones that don't know they're being played, as the world watches in amazement at the obviousness of it. According to Ukraine's emergency services, at least 12 individuals have lost their lives in Thursday's strikes alone, with 90 others sustaining injuries, and there may be additional casualties trapped beneath the debris. The emergency services reported that Moscow's offensive targeted 13 sites in Kyiv, which included residential buildings and civilian infrastructure. This marks the most devastating attack on the city since July 2024, with an aerial assault resulting in the deaths of 33 people, specifically targeting a hospital and residential areas. During a visit to South Africa, Zelensky stated that the bombardment was primarily intended to exert pressure on the United States. He aimed to counter Trump's attempts to persuade Kyiv into making concessions, asserting to reporters, "The fact that Ukraine is prepared to engage in negotiations following a complete ceasefire with terrorists represents a significant compromise." Zelensky spoke to reporters shortly before President Trump's social media post and mentioned the Trump's administration's lack of strong pressure on Russians and Russian terrorism. "This is an issue of our survival," he said. "We are direct and transparent in this matter. I don't see strong pressure against Russia and new strong sanctions packages against the Russian aggression for now." Following the attacks on Kyiv, Zelensky cut his visit to South Africa short to return to Kyiv. He said, "It is extremely important that everyone around the world sees and understands what is really happening, and that Ukraine would contact its international partners regarding its requests to strengthen its air defenses." French President Emmanuel Macron strongly condemned the terrorist attacks, saying Putin is a liar and that he needs to stop. He says, "I want peace," and continues to bomb and kill Ukraine, Macron told reporters during a Madagascar visit. The French leader said it is important to communicate to the U.S. that there is one aggressor, Russia, and one aggressed, Ukraine, saying that America's anger should be focused just on one person, President Putin.